Well done.
Thank you.
Really good.
We gonna take it, 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 gonna take it to the top. I'm gonna take it to the top. I'm gonna
Welcome to East Grinstead Hockey Club, and it is Sunday the 22nd of March, and East Grinstead men's first team are hosting Reading Hockey Club in the England Hockey Men's Premier League. Should be a great game. Obviously both teams in the bottom half and looking to see if they can reach into what will be the top 8 and that phase 3 opportunity to challenge the top teams. Also, both teams looking to try to avoid being in the bottom 4 and that relegation battle. Both teams enjoying what must be one of the first games this season to be played in sunshine. I actually can't remember the last time we had a live stream which did not involve howling wind, freezing cold weather and dark clouds. So that's very good. Thank you for joining us on today's live stream and for watching. It'd be great if you could give us a like and a subscribe and hit the bell button. The contract is pretty simple. We do the live stream, and if you wouldn't mind giving us some likes, we'd appreciate that. It's good for you as well. It means that field hockey live streams will appear in your Google feed, in your YouTube feed. So it's good all round. Any feedback is welcome. We had some feedback that the audio was a little bit quiet in previous weeks, so we've made some adjustments. So if you think it's too loud, give us a shout. If you think it's just right, tell us that. And if it's still too quiet, probably worth telling us that as well. Thank you very much. So welcome back, and again, thanks for joining us on today's stream. Couple of updates from yesterday's matches. So the both of these teams were in action yesterday. EG were away up at Brooklands, Manchester University. Got 3 points on the road, so a 2-1 win for EG. Both goals scored by Jonty Elms. Reading were at home, hosting Cardiff and Met, and it looks like they suffered a 3-2 loss. So obviously 3 points on the road for Cardiff and Met. And just for completeness, Beeston hosted Southgate, and they played out a 1-1 draw. What that does for the table in the bottom half is it means EG are top on 16 points, followed closely by Cardiff and Met on 13 points, then Reading on 12. So today's a big game for both EG and for Reading. Southgate on 10, Brooklands on 6, and Beeston on 5. So it's definitely getting to the business end of the season for sure. On the women's side of things, yesterday, EG women went away to Wimbledon and suffered a 4-0 loss. Durham University, who are going to play East Grinstead today up in Durham, had a 2-0 win against Reading. And Surbiton women scored a 5-1 win at home to Hampstead and Westminster. And what that does to the top half of the women's table is it means Surbiton are in top place with 32 points, followed by Hampstead and Westminster on 26. East Grinstead on 25 in third place, Wimbledon in fourth on 22 points, Reading in fifth on 21 points, and Durham in sixth on 18 points. And as I say, EG women are up in Durham to play them, and I believe their game starts in 4 or 5 minutes. If we get some updates on scores, we will share them. If you are watching the stream today and get score updates that we're not on top of, then give us a shout. We will comment them on the live stream. So there's confirmation of today's game. Thanks very much, as always, to Grays Hockey for providing our amazing playing kit and for the incredible support. Eva Gilbert, I'm sure you've all seen her phenomenal images. What a fantastic photographer she is. And Charles Mills Construction, thank you as well for supporting us. So it's East Grinstead against Reading today, and shortly we'll put the timer up and the scores set at 0-0 for quarter one. But just before that, we will go again to a couple of commercials. Both teams still doing their warm-ups. It looks like the Reading group are gathering and for their final few words ahead of the start of the game. You can see Coach Wesley Jackson at the bottom of the screen there. Goalkeeper Ollie Smart having his last drink before the game. So there they go, the team's walking out, ready for the match. There's number 30, Ben Galloway, a recent addition to the team, playing his third game today. Just listening to the team briefing in our video room a few minutes ago, and sounds like Ben Galloway got most valuable player from yesterday's match away at Brooklands. Be good to see if he can turn that on again today. And for Reading, you know, just like EG, a close score game yesterday, but unfortunately not falling, the results not falling in their favour with a 3-2 loss to Cardiff. Depending how the games go today, they have a chance to overtake Cardiff if Cardiff don't take the points and close the gap on EG. And meanwhile, EG probably going to want to get maximum points from this weekend to try to almost cement that position in the top end of the last part of the game of the league. Very good to see the bright colours today. Sunshine, blue sky. Doesn't look so windy. Looks like a great opportunity to see some decent hockey. Give you a little bit more background noise. And as I say, in the chat, give us feedback if there's anything we need to do to make adjustments. But let's enjoy this game. And East Grinstead begin with the ball and trying to build a big platform, and early aerial goes out wide on the right hand side. Reading quite aggressive in the press. EG moving it around reasonably well. Last Sunday did not perform in the home game against Southgate and went 2 goals down relatively early. Were able to bring it back to a 2-2 draw, but I think the team's frustrations were evident. Not quite sure what that was called for, but good territorial advantage by the East Grinstead team. At Reading have an opportunity to come away with the ball now. Looking to get their first circle entry, and a big save there by Ollie Smart, and long corner for Reading. Reading looking to build a solid platform for their play. Chose not to go down the right hand side, instead play the ball around and build their platform with a high transfer. East Grinstead looking to break all of that down. Important interception there from Daniel Faulkner, who finds a Reading foot on his way out, and EG have an opportunity. Here's Brad Reed, plays it quickly out to Max Lowry. Lowry on the score sheet last Sunday against Southgate with a corner drag flick to the bottom left. Good steal there by East Grinstead in an early chance. Coach Wesley Jackson asking the team for simple hockey. I think carrying the ball out there was a little bit too much, and Reading have an opportunity now with East Grinstead turning the ball over just on the edge of their 25. Let's just see that shot. I think that's John T. Elm's nice spinning shot, bottom right-hand corner, but just wide. Lowry looking to play the ball into the circle, but blocked by Reading's defender, and now Reading come away. Reading again with high transfer. Bit of a loose pass by EG, and Reading have an opportunity down this right hand side. Big aerial and not cleanly brought down by the Reading defence, and East Grinstead have an opportunity on the edge of the circle to go again and spread the ball fast and wide, probing for entries into the Reading circle. And there is that entry, but not clean enough. And Joe Farmer, I think that was there, that cleaned up there, and had a good game last week, and working hard again here. Reading under some pressure here, but they're playing some nice hockey. Didn't quite come off for them, but looking quite composed under pressure. East Grinstead look to spread it around again. Over it comes to Brad Reed, number 14. He's going to play it out to the left-hand side. And that doesn't quite come off for EG. I think attempts to put it on a foot didn't quite come off. Great interception there by Joe Farmer, and another nice bit of skill. And Josh Barrett comes up with the ball, but nicely brought down by the Reading forward. Calls from Reading that the East Grinstead player was too close. That aerial still creates a lot of confusion, that aerial rule. Reading making several entries into the East Grinstead circle, but so far the EG defence doing well. Shouts of pressure from Coach Jackson. Crossfield aerial for Reading, brought down by Josh Barrett. Barrett's another one who's had a really big impact on the team this year. Young, high energy, good skills, incredible work rate. to the back of the circle, and again ambiguous from the umpires. The East Grinstead player standing waiting for the ball for quite some time. That's Ben Galloway. Reading player just walks across, stands in front of him as the ball comes down. So I'm not sure how you decide that rule. At the beginning of the season there were corners and all sorts given. Nicely spread by the Reading player, spread across to the right. Good use as the centre midfield player and good return. And Reading have an interesting attack here, and I think Reading unlucky not to get more from that. I think next time there's an aerial with an ambiguous decision, we'll clip it and roll it back and show you what we think we're seeing. Again, Coach Jackson giving the instructions there, instructing the team to think about its shape. Josh Barrett plays it onto his foot, but well, the umpire gives play on, and actually it does end up on a Reading stick. They're not satisfied with that though, because they've turned the ball over. Good pressure here for Reading. 2.5 minutes remain in the first quarter. And Reading win a short corner. One East Grinstead player on the ground here, and let's see if we can have a look back at that. We've managed to clip it, and just while the team gets back into shape, see if we can show you. Here we go. Let's watch this back. I think we'll go quite slowly through it. So really good injection, great stop by the Reading player, drag flicker. Yeah, nice and wide. Difficult to see what happened there. I don't think it hit her foot, but I think that is what the Reading players were appealing for. 20 seconds to go in the first quarter. Be really great to see some likes on the live stream if you could find your way to hitting that like button, and we do appreciate it. And as we said at the beginning of the stream, it's kind of the contract. If we do the live stream, we'd really like to see some likes, and if you've got feedback, things that you don't like, just put it in the chat. It all helps us to improve our output. So looks like time, according to our clock, is up in this first quarter, and rapidly following the Reading short corner is an East Grinstead one. And there you go, you can hear the whistle. That's the end of the first quarter, so I guess the EG team might walk up and enclose the circle. And nicely charged down by the Reading defence, and it would go for a 16, but it's the end of the quarter, so we will show you that corner, I think, in just a second. We've got a few moments to do so. So here it comes. You can see Brad Reed at the top there, stopping for John T. Elms, and yeah, it puts it straight onto the stick of the number 6 runner, who did a very good job. John T's expression suggests to me that he thinks it hit a foot, but the umpire doesn't agree with that. Both teams doing their half-time talks. We've reset our clock. Umpires walk back out. And we're off in the second quarter. So as with the first quarter, Reading making some good territorial progression, but on that occasion couldn't quite capitalise. Did you dump those two into the timeline? Yeah. So if you heard some of our production chat there, I'll build the highlights package as we go. East Grinstead pushing hard on the right side of Reading, putting them under pressure, trying to prevent them from getting the ball out easily, and making Reading work really hard. Press has worked well. EG have managed to turn the ball over from Reading. EG in the circle. Can they get something from this? Reading unhappy that the EG player went to take the shot even though the whistle was going. Thank you for all the likes. Appreciate that very much. Try to get to 20 before half time if we can. That would be really amazing. Thank you very much. Good work there by the Reading forwards. Unfortunately, didn't quite come off from EG. Have the ball with the 16. Played out wide to Simon Faulkner, number 15. Makes it his way past two players, but his attempted pass to, I think that's Smithy, James Smith, number 7. Oh no, that's Sam Knight, number 6, just slightly wide. Shout out to Lingfield College that Sam Knight coaches, because he's taking the, I think it's the boys under 16 team to Nottingham tomorrow for some big schools finals competition. So good. I believe it's the first time Lingfield College have been in such a stage in the competition. So congratulations to them. We need to see what happened just there. That action, I think, looks like penalty stroke. So let's just quickly see if we can see that. Here we go. Here's the action. In comes the Reading player. Brad Reed unfortunately leans across and goes into the player's stick. So we have a penalty stroke. There's the replay, bottom left-hand corner for the Reading number 12. Reading having another attempt here, but snuffed out by EG. EG might be frustrated by the scoreline after playing some nice controlled hockey. Big crossfield aerial by EG, finds Joe Farmer, looks to play it into the circle, but intercepted by Reading. Reading can't control the pass to the left, or to the reverse side of the Reading forward. Simon Faulkner on the ball, plays it inside to Fergus Jackson. Jackson spreads it across to the right hand side to Daniel Faulkner, and Daniel plays a long pass to the right wing to Joe Farmer in a very advanced position. EG have the ball in the circle now, and it goes across the face of the goal. They'll be frustrated we didn't have someone on their nose for that. Another big crossfield aerial. So EG have the ball, and we'll just show you that chance for EG at the other end. And look at this, it just goes right across the face of the goal, but Malachi Hayes was expecting it on his strong side, didn't quite have his stick on the wrong, available on the right side. I'd say this is pretty end-to-end, this game. Both teams getting into quite advanced positions and pretty much taking it in turns, I would say. Big tackle there by Brad Reed, and East Grinstead have a chance to come away with the ball, and they do. Brad Reed to John Tielm, surprisingly enough, that connection. John Tielm slips, but keeps control of the ball, and he's undecided where he's going to put it. Manages to go around the players and draws the foul. Some nice skills there. Here comes Fergus Jackson, and Jackson's pass back, not expected. EG managed to stifle the attack, but were expecting a free hit. They managed to retain control of the ball and have a chance to go again here. Good running back by Daniel Faulkner. Somewhat lucky with his pass to Brad Reed, but Brad brings it away to Max Lowry. Lowry just shovels it on to Jackson, and Jackson plays it on to Josh Barrett. Barrett's a busy little player, and EG managed to bring the ball across to the right, but the pass is not good enough to be cleanly received by Joe Farmer under pressure from the Reading defender. Reading's turn to try to get a circle entry, which they almost do. However, they do win the long corner. A wayward pass here by Reading, and EG could have had an opportunity there, but James Smith drills it into a Reading stick, and I think EG were able to just break that attack down. The Reading player given plenty of space to receive that aerial, and now here comes the pressure. Lots of loud instructions being given by the two coaches, moving individual players into various positions. Reading's attack fizzles out, but now they have some pressure on EG's last defender. Really great chance there for Reading on the attack. Lovely pass by the dribbler at the inside left channel. We'll show you that back in just a sec. Here it comes. So you can see that pass was beautifully timed and gave the attacker all the space in the world. He wasn't able to get it round Ollie Smart though. EG look to build again. Just approaching 2.5 minutes remaining of the first half, second quarter, and Brad Reed's ball to the right-hand corner just goes wayward, and Reading have an opportunity to restart the game. Great attempted interception there by Josh Barrett again. I said he's got an engine on him, and he's quick, he's fit, and he's skillful. He's had a really good season so far. Score update from EG Women away up in Durham. Looks like EG Women are 1-0 up at half time. And the boys just approaching half time here. So long journey up to Durham for the team, challenging after a difficult match yesterday, also away at Reading. Sorry, not at Reading, at Wimbledon. Wimbledon playing some actually really good hockey. I think they scored 3 short corners. East Grinstead struggling with the return of players from World Cup qualification duty, but nevertheless shouldn't take anything away from the Reading performance, from the Wimbledon performance. So I think this may be the final play of the first half, with EG having a corner, much like the first quarter. Very well saved by Reading. By our clock, that is the end of the half. There can't be many seconds left, so EG would be keen to get it into the circle and try to create mayhem. Stick tackle by EG means Reading have the opportunity. Big aerial sends the ball to Reading in the circle. Big effort from the EG defenders required, but Reading are playing it around very nicely. Ollie Smart stands big and is able to block that pass. So that is the end of the first half, with the score finishing at EG 0 and Reading 1. Just going to line up that short corner for you, and let's see what happened at that last short corner just before the end of the play. So Bradbury stops, John Tielms drags, looks like the goalkeeper saved it with his hand, and Malachi Hay manages to get another shot on target, but Reading scramble it away. Yeah, flick too close to the goalkeeper. But good to be able to see it from a couple of different angles. Both teams moving their equipment around as the teams do their half-time talks. A lot of rubbing out going on the Reading coaches board. Pretty sure that doesn't mean that they're changing their mind what they're going to do. Probably more means that they are moving on to the next topic. Wesley Jackson and Mike Williamson with a slightly different approach to briefing the team. Wesley's giant magnetic board. Ollie Smart taking a rest behind the goal. Made some pretty good saves in that first half. The Reading players just look like they've finished their briefing and they're going to take fluids on board. You can see one of the photographers just on the hill there on the phone reporting back the action, and we seem to have some creatures living on our camera. Anyway, Reading seem to be the first team ready for the second half. The EG team now move to the other end. Both teams look more or less ready to start. So we begin the second half with the score at EG 0, Reading 1. So 35 minutes for EG to try to recover the deficit. Reading immediately onto the attack. EG with two very high forwards looking to transfer and create the window of opportunity to advance up the pitch. You might be able to hear in the background a steam train. That is the Bluebell Railway. Here comes Ollie Baxter, I think, around the back and couldn't quite keep the ball in. Reading this time camped more in the East Grinstead half. Instead of taking it in turns to attack, it feels like this time Reading is the team that is building the platform. I'm sure that's got something to do with their half-time talk. Galloway threatens to play the ball around the back, but this time chooses to beat his man. Manages to get it into the circle, and East Grinstead have a short corner. Wesley Jackson giving instructions to Daniel Faulkner. And this time, EG find the corner of the goal to secure the equaliser. And we'll get that for you in just a second. Here it comes. This time the stopper is on the other castle, and it's actually Max Lowry that scores that. I think we might see if we can look at that a different way in a moment. So just like last week, Max Lowry scores an important corner goal. Last week against Southgate, this week against Reading. Big aerial from Brad Reed, brought down comfortably by Ben Galloway. He beats his man and finds Steve Perry, plays it into the circle, but East Grinstead can't secure an advantage that time. Joe Farmer there, just on the line, taking the free hit. Chooses to leave the ball behind and beat the man in the process. Ball into the circle, and a snapshot by East Grinstead. We'll have a look at that one as well. But right now, EG have a long corner and look to build again. And can't quite get that, so let's see if we can see the snapshot there. Let's see that replay. Here we come. So it comes across, and oh, it's Ollie Baxter, number 12, and well, it looks like it was deflected off the Reading stick, but anyway, great play there by East Grinstead. Good to see decisive progress in the early stages of the second half. I think that was Ollie Baxter with another shot, and good to see him having two great opportunities in the second half, both on target. Just unlucky not to put one of them in the net, and we'll see if we have an opportunity to see that one again in a second. Just looking at the replay station next to me, it looks like a really good shot, so we're going to show you that now. Look at this. This is a great lesson for all young players. Look how close it is to the top of the circle. As soon as it's crossed that line, smash. Often too many players want to carry the ball far into the circle before having a shot, and I think that's great quality to see for the youngsters watching. Bradbury plays the ball out of trouble to Faulkner. He's carried it past 2 players, and now he's managed to, and a 3rd player, and transfers the ball on to Josh Barrett, and Josh is clattered by the opposition and manages to find a way to get it into the circle, and that reverse pass across the circle. I think let's see if we can clip that as well, and we will show you that little bit of action as quickly as we can. So here comes the action replay of that little bit of play. In it comes, and Jonty trying to take that shot and was stick tackled by Reading's number 28, giving away the short corner. And I have another score update from the EG women up in Durham, courtesy of family members of players playing. Shout out to Charles Mills, whose daughter Bieber Mills scored the first goal, and he's just instructed me that Millie Giglio scored the second goal, so EG have scored 2 goals away at Durham. And EG have just scored a second goal at home to Reading. A lovely work short corner there, so this is turning into an encouraging passage of play here. A goal from Giggs and a goal from, well, we'll see who the goal was from in just a second. Let's see the action replay. Yeah. Elms and to Lowry. Lovely, really nice. You can see how happy Max Lowry is with that. Fantastic. And we'll just show you a replay of that goal as well. Here we go. Unfortunately, Reading have equalised from the top of the circle, and looks like complex deflection there. And while we were showing you that goal, East Grinstead have equalised, so we'll now show you the action replay of East Grinstead's goal. So this is turning into a real heavyweight battle. Here comes the replay of East Grinstead. Having just suffered an equaliser, they managed to secure a 3rd goal, and it is Josh Barrett, number 27, who manages to secure that. Fantastic news for a player that's really shone this season. Young player, fit, quick, athletic, very hard worker, great skills. Really deserved that goal. Hope it turns out to be a decisive one. Quite a lot of things to manage in parallel here. We're keeping track of the score up in Durham. We're managing the action replays here. Looks like there's a Reading player down. We hope he's okay. Seems to be up on his feet, so that's encouraging. So that will probably add, I reckon, about a minute and 20 seconds to the clock. So let's say that's 6 minutes 20 remaining, although our clock shows 5. EG take the ball all the way back to defence to start the play again. I think that was a good sporting gesture Hopefully the Reading player's not too serious. Reading come away down the left-hand side. That was a little bit too easy, but so was that tackle by Daniel Faulkner. He's done well there, and looks to collect the ball after going past, but it's given against him. Brad Reed clears up at the back there. Reed making a foray into the opposition half. He's going to regret that as Reading come away with the ball, but nice little aerial there by Reading into the circle. Good save by Ollie Smart, nice and clear, straight onto an EG stick. Big whistle blow there, so something's attracted the umpire's attention. Nice little aerial there by Fergus Jackson. Hit into the circle by, I think that was Steve Perry. No, Ollie Baxter. Goes for a 16 for Reading though, and Reading go again. It's about 3.5 minutes remain of the third quarter. EG look to clear up. Josh Barrett doing hard work there, and just shows he got that crucial goal to take the score to 3-2, and he's still doing the work, just the hard, unglamorous work of making those tackles and trying to move the team up the pitch. There's Joe Farmer playing the ball into the circle, not quite able to get onto the end of an EG stick, and Reading come away with the ball again. EG again moving up the pitch, and probably we're into the last 2 minutes of quarter three. It's impossible to tell how much time the umpires have added for that Reading injury, but I reckon it was 1.5 minutes. The 3 EG boys putting pressure on the Reading player there. Very good teamwork, good to see. EG playing carefully now. I think they know that the clock is close to the end of the quarter. Each quarter so far, the first two quarters have ended with an East Grinstead short corner, so I'm sure they don't want that to happen in reverse here. Shouts from Wesley Jackson of forward, forward. He obviously wants us to be playing at the other end of the pitch. Some nice skills there by Ben Galloway. I think he deserved to get a free hit for that because he was completely impeded by the Reading player, and now Reading have an opportunity to come away with the ball, and the Reading striker does nicely there. He can't get the ball around Daniel Faulkner though. And that's the whistle for the end of the third quarter. We'll just give you a moment to recuperate your breath while we set the timers and everything. Ready for the last 17.5 minutes. The teams position themselves ready for the start of the final quarter. And we are off. The score at the beginning of Q4 is East Grinstead 3, Reading 2. And I would say it's been a fairly even game with both teams having some good chances. I think the first half was characterised by each team giving the other the opportunity to attack. I think the third quarter was probably a little bit more Reading to begin with in terms of possession, and then a couple of rapid fire goals, one for each team, and that brings us to 3-2. Interesting then there from Ollie Smart, just cushioning the ball as it came down from an aerial. Lovely play by Ben Galloway, carrying the ball through some players and releasing it nice and early. And here comes, I think that was Fergus Jackson, and now we've got James Smith coming into the circle looking to try to win something, crowded out by three Reading players. And there's Joe Farmer again. He's nicely played it into Smithy. It's a good play by East Grinstead, now bringing the ball out of the congested area. Reading's 16. Big aerial. Yeah, shouts from Coach Jackson of "Give it, Joe, give it." And Joe Farmer probably not quite releasing that early enough, but EG getting away there with a dangerous ball across the face of goal. The front post guy couldn't deflect it. Ollie Smart made it very difficult for both players, but the back post guy couldn't get to it either. And EG need to cut some of those errors out. Big cross-field aerial. Again, good play there by, I think, Galloway. Back to Joe Farmer. Steve Perry signalling just to calm it down. Smithy, what acceleration there. And does really nicely to get the ball under control and then win the free hit. Ball diagonally to the far post, I think from Jackson, but nobody able to capitalise on that. Score update from EG Women's Ones. And it looks like Durham have clawed a goal back. I'm not sure if that's the final score. Joe Farmer there, having to reverse a little bit to go and collect that. Plays it nicely out to Jackson. And another score update from Durham. Bieber Mills with her second goal of the game brings the score to East Grinstead 3, Durham 1. This is really positive. As I say, I'm sure it's difficult for Durham having to trek down to London all the time. Long journey to go all that way, and well done to the girls for putting some goals in. EG trying to retain possession. 11 minutes remaining in this final quarter. It's finely balanced, this game. EG bring the ball into the circle, but Reading carefully bring it away. Reading breaking away now. I think this will be a 1-2. Yeah, good use of the space up the left. Another one of those big crossfield aerials that are increasingly prevalent in the game, but this time brought down by EG and just played away out to safety. Reading looking to take that free hit relatively quickly, but unfortunately the ball rolled out and they had to wait for the ball patrol to deliver a new one. There is the ball patrol in his fluorescent yellow top. EG will be looking to make some advances here. Can they get a circle entry and get anything out of it? Not there, they can't. Loud encouragement from Coach Jackson. Into the circle, and Reading have it under control, but lots of pressure from the EG forwards. That's a Reading free hit, so 7 minutes remain in the final quarter. Again down that left side for Reading. And Max Lowry in good position there on the right half position. Daniel Faulkner coming over here. Here it goes. I suspect this will go to Lowry. Oh, aerial, not big enough aerial, but I think probably that was looking for Ben Galloway. Reading making inroads down the right this time, and decide there's no opportunity there, so going to spread it around and do this transfer again. with that high transfer, Reading probing for opportunities. Very nice piece of skill there. Does Galloway, but EG trying to defend this. Looked like there was an injury for the Reading player on the left-hand shoulder of the circle, but Reading come again. Lots of bobbling balls. This is dangerous, very dangerous. And the Reading player, unfortunately for him, just misses the goal to the left. We might be able to clip that and show you in a second. Yeah, we'll show you now. So there we go. That was dangerous, and the Reading player lifted it high and wide to the left of the goal. He's got his hands on his heads. That was a expensive miss, but Reading are certainly piling on the pressure with a very high press. And there's Galloway on the ball here. He's been a really, really nice find for the team. Really good team player. A little bit frustrated there, I think, having a little word with the umpire, but here it comes again. And delays the pass in order to put it onto the foot of the Reading player and buys the team a little bit of time to reset. Reading come again. Left hand on the ground there by, I think that's Brad Reed. Classic indoor tackle, actually. Little aerial popped up, and John Tiam's looking to bring it inside. Runner can't pick the ball up. And again, it goes up the right-hand side of the pitch this time. Reading player manages to turn. Reverse stick pass finds the player in the circle and goes away safely for from an EG perspective. And we have a final score from the women's match up in Durham. EG Women 3, Durham 2. Same score as this at the moment. Just under 3 minutes remaining. Now, I know the girls have got a very long journey to get back, and they will be looking to freshen up and get on their way as quickly as possible. The ball rolls under two players' sticks. That's kind of criminal, and given the intensity with which Reading are looking to play at this point in time. Takes 3 or 4 players to make the tackle, but again, Reading are quick to turn it into an attack. Galloway brings the ball away calmly, looking for space. Just nicely looking to play the ball onto feet and win the free hit. Bradbury plays the aerial, and a little bit too crowded, and it goes out.
Running.
Yeah, final few seconds. and the match finishes with a 3-2 win for East Grinstead. What a close game that was. Good game of hockey for both teams. So EG come away with 6 points today. 3 points for the men and 3 points for the women. Congratulations to the women up in Durham, and well done to the men. 6 point weekend for the men, away at Brooklands yesterday and home against Reading today. That is a really good outcome. Difficult to know exactly what that will do to the table, obviously looking for other results coming in, but it turns East Grinstead's tally from 16 into 19. So played 14 with 19 points. Reading will stay on 12 points, and we'll need to see what happens with Cardiff and Met if they're able to consolidate their advantage over Reading. And it will also be interesting to see what's happening with Southgate, Brooklands and Beeston this weekend. And obviously difficult for the two teams in 5th and 6th place of the bottom 6, and we wish them both a lot of luck in these last few moments of the season.
I'm not